Today, I'm going to take you through some common breastfeeding items. I'm going to tell you what to get, what to skip, and what might fall in between. Okay, so what we're going to do is jump into Amazon. I don't have all these products on hand with me because I'm through the breastfeeding stage, and also some of these items I never purchased because I didn't want them. So let's dive into it in no particular order. Okay, so this first item here is a nipple shield. Okay, so if you want to nurse your baby, a lot of people use a shield. Now, it's going to depend on your anatomy for this. I never even tried one. I nursed both my babies successfully, just to get that out of the way. Both of them made it about 14 to 15 months. We pretty much directly nursed. I worked as a nanny at the time, and they went to work with me while they were nursing. So I didn't use a nipple shield. It never was an issue for me. And now, if you need it, great. That's fine. I'm not putting it down. It is a helpful tool. Now, here's where I will put it down. Okay, so this needs to be sanitary, okay? Because you can get infection on your breast, on your body, your nipple, and your baby can get it in their mouth, okay? Thrush is one of them. I don't know any others by name. I'm not a doctor. This needs to be sanitary, okay? And for me, I just felt like baby's mouth directly on me. There was like as little as possible versus this is something that can get contaminated, grow bacteria. You know, it's wet, and breast milk is sticky. You know, it's sugary sweet. Not a fan. Another thing is finding one that is the correct size for you. And then how often are you replacing it? How many do you have? You don't replace it with every use. You can wash it and reuse it. But overall, I would try to avoid it. I would not jump to it immediately. Okay? Just my thoughts and my opinion. So I made it without the nipple shield. Okay, the second item is basically a massager. You just stick it on your breast, massages. Okay, it says 2-in-1. So it says massager, heat, and vibrating. It can help with clogged ducts and milk flow and all that good stuff. Okay, it's great, but you don't need it. What I would often do, especially in the early days when maybe your milk really came in, is I would be like nursing baby in whatever position. I did under the arm primarily, but you could just rub with your other hand and just kind of like if you felt maybe a little bit of a knot or a little bit of a hard spot where maybe you were getting a clogged duct, you can just kind of massage it with your hand a little bit. Or do you have any other massager already in the house? Some of these items, I'm sorry, they're gimmicks. They're not needed. Same with, okay, if you want it for the heat, do you have a heating pad in your home? Not everything needs to be baby or breastfeeding specific. So I 100% would skip this item. I think it's getting to a point of so much overwhelm. Overwhelm for mom you're trying to hold your baby and nurse them, and now you got this massager and you're doing too many things. This overwhelm will lead you to failing on your breastfeeding journey. Okay, so overall, I would not recommend this product. I think it gets in your head more than it actually benefits you. These I like to call the purple breast pads. So these can often go warm or cold, meaning you could put them in the freezer or you could heat them up a bit. I don't know if they're like microwave safe or what exactly, but again, you're just like putting it on your breast in your bra. I didn't think it was necessary. I didn't, honestly. Like if you really wanted something cold, you could throw a washcloth, like get it wet in the sink, throw it in the freezer for a bit. It'll get a little bit cold and then stick it on there. We don't need all these itty bitty little items. Again, I think it breeds overwhelm. Okay, so this was a skip for me. Okay, so primarily here, I'm going to talk about breastfeeding. Now, breastfeeding can include pumping, okay? So like we're not going to get into bottles, for example. That's more just feeding baby. I'm more so talking about your role in it. So this is an electric breast pump. It's more affordable than some, but it is one where you might have to be plugged in. You might need to sit down in a specific spot or, you know, I don't know the details. I didn't actually use this pump. I'm just showing it as an example more than anything, but it's one where it just has that shape to it. You would ideally want a pumping bra when you are using this one. We will talk about that more versus the more, they call them hands-free ones where they can go in your bra better. It's more of a circular item. We'll get to that in a minute. This is a more affordable pump. What I would say is if you're not sure if you want to pump or you plan to directly nurse primarily, maybe this is the pump for you. Okay, we'll talk about why you might want the more expensive pump here in a minute. So affordable pump, not a bad idea. I will say the pump I had, which I very, very rarely used, was free with my insurance. So if possible, consider that. If you do end up being like an exclusive pumper, you just can't get that latch, then maybe you upgrade to a nicer pump. Or maybe you are going to work and you do want one pump at home and one pump at work, maybe then you get a second one. But overall, I got my pump from insurance, or was covered by my insurance here in the United States. And it served me well enough for the little amount of time that I actually used it. Okay. If you think pumping is going to be a big deal for you, stay tuned. I've got another one coming up. Okay, now this little guy, I did not have one of these. This is a manual hand pump. It's only one of them, so you do one side, then the other. It has no batteries, no electronics. You are pumping with your hand strength. This is something that could come in handy on the go, okay, on a road trip in the car. Yes, you could plug in your pump potentially, but this one is just like super, super convenient for just those in a pinch moments. Okay, you could be on a girls' night out and go do this in the bathroom. You could do it in the car. You could do it in an airplane. You could just at home not want to deal with the whole pump setup, and you find this is a very simple solution. Okay, didn't have one of these. Again, I didn't really pump. My baby was with me basically 24/7, so they nursed off of me, and it saved me that effort of washing a pump and washing bottles. So can't recommend direct nursing enough. I will link some more videos about that in the description if you're interested in learning more. Overall, I did not get this product, but I will not hate on this product. I do think it's practical and can be used in the right applications. Okay, so this is more of a nice pump. Now, honestly, the price on this isn't too far off from that other one. In fact, it might actually be cheaper. That's crazy. Pumps like this used to be like $300-400, like the Willow, the LV, they were super popular. Maybe this one's not as fancy. I'm not a breast pump specialist by any means, but if you can see here in the picture, it fits really nicely into the cup of your bra. It makes you look like you have a big old chest, but it can be really discreet. You know, it says more hidden, you know, wear a cardigan over it, or shoot, if you were wearing like a hoodie, no one would notice. It collects the milk in a nice, like seamless shape versus the other pump extends out more. These typically are more expensive. It's obviously important to get the right size, make it shape to your body. With pumps in general, there can be a different like flange size to it. Okay, not an expert on this. Again, I was not a pumper. If your baby won't latch and you want them to get breast milk, this may be the way to go. If you know you're going to return to work full time and you are going to pump for the first year, like that's a goal, that's a plan, this might be something you are interested in, okay? If you are a stay-at-home mom who does not want to pump, does not intend to pump, I would not get this, at least until you maybe discover baby's not latching, I need this. Hopefully that brings a little bit of clarity on the pumping department of breastfeeding. Next, we have a breastfeeding accessory. So it's these silver nipple cups, okay? They are called silverettes or whatever. It depends on the brand. As I'm de-influencing you on any of these products, it's not about the brand. I'm not against Mom Cozy, okay? I just picked random items off of Amazon. Any nipple shields I'm speaking about when I say it, okay? It's not a brand issue. So I did not get these, okay? I lived without them. They might be beneficial. Okay, I don't know what they're doing. I assume it has something to do with the silver, but I don't know how that's really helping you. Just being completely honest, it might be a little woo-woo. It might actually work. I don't know, but it's one more item. It gets in your head. All of a sudden you're like, oh, baby didn't nurse well. Well, it's because I didn't wear my silverettes yesterday. I feel like there's something that could be easily lost, and these things are like $45. This is also something that maybe you could get a hand-me-down of, and I know that might be taboo with breastfeeding items. Like, oh, I'm going to use your old breast pads. That's weird. Or your old breast pump. That's weird. But these are just little silver things. You can wash them very easily. Okay, so this would be something great to get from a friend, an older sister, cousin, somebody in the family. Why are we still making them? There should be enough of them in the world at this time. Just pass them around and get some use out of them. Earlier, I mentioned that I breastfed both of my babies for about 14-15 months each. I did it without a nursing pillow. I took a regular pillow off of our guest bed. In those first months when baby was little, I'd put it on whichever side I was nursing on. And I did the football hold where baby went under my armpit. So I'd put the pillow there to kind of help hold them up a little bit. And I made do. I made it work. Out in public, I didn't use one anyway. At work, didn't use a nursing pillow. I just made it work. I didn't feel the need because, you know what? Where's this item going to go? Between feedings, where's it going to go? It's going to sit out on your couch. There's nowhere to put this. Or it goes in your bedroom and sits on the bed. Like, there's nowhere to put this item. Items like this are what take over your home when you have a baby. And people say, oh my gosh, there's just baby stuff everywhere. It's things like this, okay? Now, if I were gonna get a nursing pillow, I would get one like this. This one is like the Breast Friend one, where it's a harder surface. It's got a little pocket. Who doesn't like a little pocket? I think it's more adjustable with the little strap on it and maybe gives a little bit of back support. I like this one more than the Boppy, which I'm gonna cover next. Now, this one's not one to rest your baby, and like people use the Boppy for their baby. You just don't need to, okay? Just use it as a nursing pillow, and that's okay. Again, though, I skipped it altogether. All right, save my friends and family the $50 they had to buy it, and instead maybe they bought me diapers. Just my opinion. And also, maybe you have a friend, sister, cousin, somebody you can get it from secondhand. Okay, we don't need to buy everything new. Okay, now let's talk about the Bobbie. So I don't like the Bobbie. Yes, it's a pillow, but it is just wonky and floppy, and the baby can almost roll off of it because it's like a, it's kind of like a rounded surface. Don't get it. Don't like it. You don't need it for tummy time. They don't need it to sit in. Let's just focus on breastfeeding. I would not get this item. Okay, I don't like it. I like the other one better if I was going to use one. And this isn't from my experience nursing. It's really just like looking at them and understanding the concept of nursing. I also babysat and nannied, and some of them did have a Bobbie to like feed a baby a bottle. And I wasn't in love with it. I just really wasn't. So my experience that I do have with pillows tells me that I like my Breast Friend pillow better than the Bobbie, which if you're interested in any of these products, whether I told you to buy them or not, it's okay. I will link them all in the description, so you're welcome to check them out. Those links, of course, are affiliate links, so I do get a kickback, but you do not pay any more because they're affiliate links. And if you don't use the links, that's great too, because then I de-influenced you from buying more things. So that is great as well. If you are going to pump any milk at all in any way, shape, or form, you're going to need bags to store it in. So these are breast milk bags. I cannot say this brand, but I just call it the purple brand. I believe I used them, and then I used like some generic ones. I would probably use the cheapest I can find, but maybe people had bad experiences. I very rarely had milk going into my freezer. There was a little bit here and there. I would use the Haka. We'll get to that in a minute. But my babies didn't really like bottles. I kind of trained them not to do bottles, so it wasn't really a great system for us. However, you are going to want to store that breast milk somehow, some way in your freezer. So if you're going to pump it all, I would recommend getting these. Okay, and that takes us straight into the Haka. So I did have a Haka. Now, there are slightly different versions of the Haka. This one has like a little base on the bottom and a little cap. I recommend getting the cap. The Haka can very easily fall over and spill. Okay, another method people have used is the coffee mug method. They'll have a coffee mug sitting on the table beside them, use the Haka, and then put it in the coffee mug. Definitely recommend that as well as like another safeguard, or one or the other. But I used the Haka. It was nice. Now, the Haka is not a pump. It's a milk collector. All right, there's different milk collectors out there. So the Haka uses a little bit of suction. So I would nurse baby on one side and wear the Haka on the other. For me, this did not drastically mess up my supply. It didn't make me oversupply, in my opinion. I felt like my body stayed very regulated. Pumping can confuse your body if you do too much of it, or you just mess with your milk production. I felt like the Haka was an easy way to collect an ounce or two without confusing my body too much. And also, I was okay with making sure I made enough milk for my babies. It's easy, it's wearable, it's something I would nurse baby on the one side so they couldn't kick it. Their feet would be under my armpit. You don't need batteries, you don't need a plug, you don't need anything like that. If you're engorged and your baby's asleep, maybe you don't want to pump because you don't want to tell your body to make more milk, but throw this on, it can relieve a little bit of pressure. Overall, it's a very simple product, okay? I think I would recommend it. I had one. It's not an absolute need, but it was kind of nice to have. Again, maybe somebody in your family has one, you can get one secondhand. So those are my thoughts on the Haka. Okay, let's go into the nursing cover. Now, for some people, this is an essential. For some people, it is not. For me, essential, okay? I was not comfortable breastfeeding my babies in public, just throwing on my shirt. Not my jam. I like to cover. Now, there's different types of covers. So this one I like for a newborn. Itty bitty. It's got like that little rod sort of thing in there that gives it some structure. Easy to see down and check on baby when they're really little. They might need a little help. So I liked these a lot. I would recommend only getting 2 maximum. I lived with 1, and it can go in and out of the diaper bag, or just always keep in the diaper bag because at home, maybe you don't need the cover. You're at home. So overall, I made do with 1 cover like this, okay? And it served me well and was an absolute must-have for me. I got mine secondhand, however. So in the first 3 or so months, you're gonna leak, okay? Especially the first couple weeks. So these go in your bra. Okay, you can buy the reusable ones like this or disposable. My recommendation is to get ones that are plain and they all match. There are sets of these where they're like stripes and polka dots or pink, blue, yellow, green. Why? Why have one more thing to match? Or if you care or they show through, I went with, I believe this brand. I tried to find it and I think it is this actual brand. Okay, they're like organic cotton, but they were still really affordable. Okay, I don't think you need a ton of them. What I would often do is like pile them up by the washer when they were dirty and like throw them in a load and kind of try to keep them clean and moving through the laundry quickly. I did also buy disposables, so if I did run out of my washable ones, I could switch over to the disposable in the meantime. Now do remember that's a 6-pack, but if you got 2 breasts, that's really like a 3-pack in a way. So I definitely got more than that. Yeah, I thought they were very useful and helpful in those first few months. Don't get 50 of them though. Okay, it's only the first few months. So keep that in mind and don't go overboard. Now we have the disposable ones. Okay, so these disposable ones, I wouldn't worry about getting too nice of a brand. Honestly, they're gonna go in the trash. I believe I use these are very similar to these. They do the job, they get it done, they keep you dry. It's kind of like diapers are very good at absorbing the moisture away. So if you are struggling with reusable ones, give these a try. Okay, they're pretty affordable. Obviously it is trash in a landfill, that whole jam, but sometimes we gotta do what we gotta do. So up to you on how you make that call. Like I said, I did a combination of both and that really did work out for me, but please don't overbuy. Okay, that is not my goal here. Okay, so nipple butter. I did not use this actual brand. I used the purple brand. And then I tried a different one that was like a Walmart brand. Did not like it. It was thick like honey and too thick. Anywho, I like one that spreads really nice, almost like a Vaseline level or like a chapstick type of level. Just smooth, okay? Not anything too thick like peanut butter or honey. So I did not use this actual brand. I just see it everywhere. I think it's very popular. So wanted to show that one off here. I have used this example before in a video. If I was just dropped in the, I don't know, Amazon rainforest with a newborn baby, what is the one item I would want? This is my #1 breastfeeding item. All right, you need to keep your body healthy when you're feeding baby. I would use nipple butter all the time. So not right before a feeding, but right after a feeding, I would use it. Oh, it's been 30 minutes, reapply. Oh, it's been 30 minutes, baby's still sleeping, reapply. Okay, I'd put it on my body directly, but sometimes I'd even put it in the nursing pad or on the nursing pad and then put that against me. I was so consistent with my nipple butter. Did I still experience like pain? And at one point I did have a little bit of cracking. It was terrible. I did my best, but I was so on it with the nipple butter. I think it is so essential. And for me, this is a #1 baby essential. I cannot recommend it strongly enough. Okay, so earlier I showed you that 2-pack of nursing covers where it was kind of like that like domey wire situation. That one I love for the newborn. Now, when your baby gets older, they might start flinging their arm or kicking their foot out. And sometimes they can show a little more off than mama wants to show. For me, when your baby starts getting extremely wiggly, larger, and just kind of stronger, then I would maybe do this style. Okay, the one that goes all the way around your body. Another great thing about this style is if like your pants are falling down in the back or you're lifting your shirt up and maybe your side is showing, this one does give you more coverage. I think this one is trickier though for looking down at baby. That's why I don't recommend it for a newborn. Okay, so just my opinion. If you can make this work with the newborn, great. I just felt like I had too much elbow nonsense going on. And if you notice the lady pictured, she only has it over the one arm, which is kind of nice because normally I feel like I see people put it over both arms and it's like tricky. So interesting on that. Maybe you dabble and see what works for you. People promote these as like a car seat cover as well. Be careful with that in the summer, of course. I never used one like that. I got like 2 of these for free in like my welcome Amazon and welcome Target boxes or bags. So look to get these for free. Okay, don't look to spend money on these. All right. All right, this next item I did not specifically use. I did not use any lactation food at all or supplements. There's plenty out there on the market. I'm not hating on this one. Again, there's plenty of them. I had a friend who made me some homemade cookies. She said they were lactation cookies. I ate them. They were delicious. That was it for me. I did not use any of these items. If you're struggling with your supply, maybe you do, okay? But I do also think it can really get in your head as a mama. And I think one of the best things you can do for breastfeeding and breastfeeding success is to chill out, get a good latch with your baby, and simply feed them. Feed them often, feed them long, feed them frequent. Like, just be a mom and feed your baby, okay? Don't worry about the silverettes and the lactation cookies and the massager. It really gets in your head, okay? So just my advice. If you want to hear more about getting a good latch, I will link that video in the description as well. I think it's a helpful understanding of how the latch works. This is an item that I did not have a need for because I did not pump. Now this is one for a frequent daily kind of pumper. You can use less breast milk bags, okay? Say you pump today, put it in there and it's ready to go for tomorrow. Then you're not having to use as much plastic, which is great. However, it's also a specific item that you don't have to have. You could just get a mason jar out of your cabinet and use it, right? Now, my question would be, will you use this pitcher once you're done breastfeeding? Okay, does it look good enough to use? Do you have a purpose for it? I would try to find something that you're either comfortable using longer in the future or something you already have. It's not that serious. It's just a pitcher for milk, Okay, so chill out. And like the system here is like you pump, put it in the fridge, and then you just dump it into bottles. Okay, it's actually very simple. It's referred to as the pitcher method. If you want to learn more on that, I don't have any resources, so you have to check that out online. Okay, now this item is a little bit off track with breastfeeding, but with breastfeeding and bottle feeding, you have pumps and bottles and all the things to wash. So I threw this on here because I've been seeing it on baby registries and it drives me crazy. All it is a tub with a drain and it's collapsible and people are paying $16.50 for it. Just use a mixing bowl. Just wash the pump parts and the bottle parts in the sink. Like, you don't need a specific bin. You could probably find a bin, it won't have your drain plug, but you tip it over, at Dollar Tree, okay? If you want something that's fresh and new and maybe your kitchen sink, you know, you cut chicken in there and it grosses you out. I don't know. You don't need to pay $16.50 for a specialized tub. This is just the baby industry trying to get into your head and make you buy all the things, okay? Skip it. This next item is just an organizer for breast milk, okay? You put the newest milk in the top, and when you need to feed baby, you pull out from the bottom so you're getting through your rotation and using your oldest milk. I don't think you need this item. I don't get it personally. I just organize my milk. I would rotate it, and I got them from my dad actually because he's a pop drinker. So the like packs that they come in, like they're cardboard, I would just rip off the top and I made my own container basically. And all you have to do is when you're making a bottle, like pull from the back, or when you're done pumping and you put that milk in a bag, put it in the back. Okay, again, I wasn't a huge pumper, so it wasn't a huge deal for me, but I would never have used this. I would have organized myself and not spent $22 on something that you're only going to use during this short season of life. Okay, I have somewhat strong opinions on this, and I apologize if I'm wrong or offend anyone. Okay, not a doctor, not a lactation specialist, consultant, any of the things, but I would say 9 times out of 10, I think this product is not good and not helpful. Okay, so when you're pregnant and your baby's coming soon, sometimes people are told or get it in their mind to pump. Pump, start saving milk for baby. Why? When baby gets here, they can just have the milk. And particularly at first, you're making colostrum, which this is a colostrum collector kit. Why would you want to collect it to then feed it to them in a bottle if you're trying to breastfeed? Now, if you 100% are not trying to breastfeed, okay, just wait and pump once they're born. I don't understand the need for this in a normal birth situation. Now, if there's a medical situation, if baby is born and they're a preemie and they're going to the NICU, yeah, this could be so helpful. Mom pumps that colostrum out. And colostrum, the reason why they have this kit is basically it's such small amounts. You don't want to put it in a breast milk bag because like you'll lose so much of it in the bag. You want it in a small container kind of thing. You don't get a lot. Okay, it's like liquid gold as they call it. So unless you have a serious situation, I would not get this. Why are you taking that milk out of your body and putting it somewhere else to then give it to baby? Give it to baby direct, okay? Just my opinion. Unless you truly want to pump from the get-go, or your baby is going to have a situation where they cannot nurse, okay? Maybe you know of a reason. If you want to leave a comment explaining to me more why somebody would need this, go ahead. But for the most part, I'm going to argue against it. And for the average mama, I would say this is a no-go. Keep it in your boobs. Give it to baby when they come, okay? That's when they need it. Don't mess things up, okay? Because also, what if you do this? What if you're like collecting colostrum while you're still pregnant? Just throwing that out there. Okay, now baby's born and all of a sudden you got milk coming in and their bellies aren't ready for it. Maybe their belly's still too small and it just needs colostrum. You're jumping the gun, potentially, okay? Depends on how you're using this and in what situation. Again, leave a comment if you want to talk more. This next item is pump wipes. So if you're at work, maybe you would want these. If you're a constant pumper and you really are out and about, maybe you would want these. Overall for me, I would say it's a no-go. I only pumped at home or where I nannied and they had a sink available. If at work you have a sink and you're gonna rinse your pump off, don't worry about this. Okay, overall, most of the times in life, you're gonna have access to water to at least rinse your pump off, okay? Whether it's a bathroom, a kitchen sink, a office like break room maybe, just to rinse it out, okay? I don't think these are super necessary. It's just another type of wipe to have with you and to dry out and to waste. So for me, it's a skip unless you really, really find a need for it. Alrighty, next we have some nursing tops. So I just picked a couple here to show you. Obviously you can get tank top, short sleeve, you can get dresses. Basically, it will usually have a double layer of material. One goes up, one goes down, and your boob can come out. So I do like a nursing top. Obviously you can just use a regular shirt, hike it up. You can do a cami underneath it or a tank top. You do you on how many breastfeeding outfits you want versus how many regular clothes you just make work. I definitely tried to keep my nursing clothing budget really, really small. I tried to get hand-me-downs. Again, it's a short season of life. I didn't need to buy brand new clothes. So as much as possible, I was limited and I took hand-me-downs and bought secondhand because it's just a small phase of life. Okay, so up to you on how much you want to invest in, but just mentioning, hey, those products are out there if you need them and if you want them. All right, so this item here is a pumping bra. Okay, so that first pump I believe I showed you, it looks a bit like this, and the flange kind of is in the bra and then the pump part is out and it kind of like holds it in for you. So this is not the same as a nursing bra necessarily. Some bras are made to do both. If you are gonna have a pump like this, get one that's both. If you notice right here, there is like a clip. So that does mean this probably clips down for directly nursing your baby. Okay, so if you're gonna get a pump like this, you're gonna want a bra like this. All right, and then one more example of nursing bras here. Now these ones do not work for that pump. They're just a nursing bra. It comes down. You can see it there on that like tan one. Folds down. Nursing bras are great. I love them. You don't absolutely have to have them, but for me, dealing with the bra, the shirt, the cover, it's a lot if you're trying to make do with your normal ones. So for me, it was a must have. I only got like 3 or 4 and I just made do. I did the laundry all the time. Right when I took it off, it went straight in the washer. I'm very good about keeping up on laundry. So for me, it was just a constant, like mom's clothes were always in the wash with whoever else's clothes were getting done. And that's how I made it work. And for me, it wasn't that bad. So this would be something I would invest in, and it may be something that you can't do hand-me-downs if you can't get the right sizing, okay? I recommend a nursing bra for any mama who wants to directly nurse their baby. Alrighty, so those are all my breastfeeding products that I wanted to suggest to you or de-influence you on. Don't feel like you have to have everything. Is there any that I missed that are important or essential? Okay, leave me a comment, let me know, and I hope you found this helpful if you're working on your baby registry and getting prepared for your breastfeeding journey. I will link tons of breastfeeding resources in the description. Okay, I really, really like to support breastfeeding mamas and encourage them on their journey. So if you like this, check out some more on my channel, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, have a great day.